Good morning. We are live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. December 14th, 2021. My name is Reza. I'm an immigration consultant, licensed one here in Canada, Toronto. If you're watching this video because you're wondering, there's no visa required, where I'm going to specify exactly what the Canadian government means. So half of you might know about this regulation and half of you won't. And that's why you're watching this video. And remember, if you think it's useful, please give us a like on this video while you're I think the audio could be making sure the audio is working. If you're an international student or if you're a temporary foreign worker inside of Canada, okay, with a valid permit, so valid study permit or valid work permit, if you visit the US with a valid US visa, of course, or if you're visa exempt to go to the US, doesn't matter how you get to the US, as long as you can go to the US and you plan to return to Canada, you do not need a visa. Okay, so unfortunately there's very few exemptions, right? So either you are from a country or nationality like Mexico, Chile, Europe, or you have a Brazilian passport with a US visa, you are visa exempt back to Canada. However, you need an electronic travel authorization, ETA. But in case you're an international student or international worker with a valid permit inside of Canada and you only visit the US and you want to come back, you do not need a valid visa to return to Canada. Okay, so this is a fact. Many people know this, many people don't, and that's why we put this video here. You still need a visa to, travel to US, or if you're travel exempt, but when you're coming back, all you need is your valid study permit or valid work permit. It doesn't matter what kind of work permit, it should be valid. It doesn't matter what kind of study permit, it should be valid. With these documents, if you're here in Canada and you visit the US and you want to come back, you do not need a valid visa of any sorts. Okay, so remember, keep your valid status. Make sure you read all the travel restrictions for COVID. Remember, travel restrictions for COVID. And if you're watching this video later on, this recording, that's basically the regulation. Is for returning international students and workers from the US, if they have a valid permit and they just visited the US for whatever, holiday, visit, whatever it is, you do not need a visa to return to Canada. Okay? Please keep in mind, at the border when you return, no matter if you have a visa, you don't have a visa, if you fall into this category, the CBSA, Canadian Border Security Agency, the officers will ask you questions and make sure you still have the eligibility to do your job, let's say if you're a worker, or study. If you give them the wrong answers at any time, if you have a visa or you don't, they may not allow you. It happens 1 out of 10 cases. 9 out of 10 is fine. They're asking you, okay, you're coming back, are you returning to school, are you attending school, are you working for this employer, whatever it is. Keep that in mind, folks. Okay, every time you enter Canada, no matter if it's for your permanent residency, no matter if it's for a visa, through a visa, no matter if you're a student, worker, tourist, family member, they will ask you questions. If you give them the wrong answers, it could create problems. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. Okay, so that's the major point that we wanted to discuss today. If you think this is interesting for you, great. You're here, you want to travel to the US because you have a visa, but you don't have a Canadian visa to come back. Why would you care in that case? Is because a Canadian visa could take you anywhere from 4-6 months or more to get right now, even if you're inside of Canada. So having that option of going to the US and coming back with your valid work permit or study permit can save you a lot of time. Okay, if you don't fall into this category, don't worry. You still need to do a visa, right? And you can apply through the new portal online, right? The IRCC portal that was launched in September. It's very efficient. You can fill out the forms there. There are no more forms to fill out on PDFs. Everything is online with the new portal, right? So keep that in mind, folks. When you are doing your visitor visa through the IRCC portal, the regular PDF forms are not there anymore. Everything is just fields online, and you just go through the questions and answer them one by one if you do need a visa. We're going to answer some questions now, okay, on our live. If everybody can give me a minute here. We have been online for how long, folks? Who's keeping track here? Who's awake? Who's still awake? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just pulling your leg here. So the way our lives work, if you're watching this video later on, like, what is this kid talking about? Every Tuesday, 9 a.m., 5 p.m., we are live on our YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We can see the comments on YouTube. So if you're on Instagram and Facebook, we cannot see your comments live. We can see your comments later on. But on YouTube, we see the comments and we answer your questions. So that's why we're here on Tuesdays, to help you, guide you, and answer your questions. 9 a.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. And our afternoon sessions are usually in Spanish and English. Our morning sessions are in English. Okay? So we're going to look at the comments on YouTube and see what's going on. Again, if you're on Facebook or Instagram, we can only see your videos later on. Okay, sorry about that. There's something wrong with our Instagram, so we might not see it at this point. Okay, start. Yeah, it's not working. Yeah, so let's go into the comments. Sorry about that, technical issues there. So Neil Yakub. So whenever I read out your name, just press the like button so I know you're watching. I know you're alive. I know you're awake. I know you're not watching some movie or show, or you're driving. So whenever I call your name and I'm answering your question or reading your question, just give us a like so I know you're there. Hello, Reza. My family and I are being privately sponsored by a church. The status on IRCC website got updated to we started processing your application on November 9th, 2021 recently. That's great, Jacob. The fact that they started processing your application. Hopefully by next year, I'm not sure about the processing times for that program at this moment. It's very difficult to note, okay? But that's good, the fact that they started processing. Nasreen Ibrahimi says, Nasreen says, hi. Hello, Nasreen. You don't have to write your name when you're commenting. I already see your name. Peter Mark says, hello, sir. Greetings to you. Merry Christmas from Jeddah. Merry Christmas to all of our viewers from Saudi Arabia as well, no matter where you are in the Middle East, Americas, Africa, subcontinent, India, Asia. We are here to help. Ore Falamo. Press the like when I read your question so I know you're still there. Hello, Reza. I'm from Nigeria. I want to know if IRCC is still processing student visas for red list countries like Nigeria. Also, is there any way I can go about moving to Canada with these restrictions? Yes, it's still being processed. You don't have to worry. You just need to meet the eligibility requirements for that permit or visa that you're applying for, and consider quarantine restrictions, travel restrictions, and other restrictions that are required. Okay? Shana Gray, VOI for your information. I think that's like a spam or something. We will do that. Iona Silva. So when we call out your name, when we read your question, please press the like so I know you're there. We can interact better. Iona Silva, can I know the reason for the delay of January 2022 student visa process? In most cases, it will be processed before January, Iona. However, if you applied a little bit later, the processing could be done later, right? So if you didn't apply by October or September and you only applied, let's say, mid or end November, it's difficult to process it on time. That's why. Ram Rasal Singh, Randwa. I lodged a file. Oh, thanks, Ayana. Ram Rasal Singh Radawa. I lodged file on 8th of October. Biometrics on the 19th. When will my results come? I have college deadline coming. Okay. You should, if it's January 2022 intake, you should receive something by end of December. Okay. You should, but it's not guaranteed. Remember that, everyone. This is not like a hotel reservation or like a flight you book to go for an international travel. There are no guarantees that you will get the approval or the decision on time. That's why we always recommend to apply way in advance. If you're thinking about September 2022, you should be applying around between January to April latest. If you apply too late, IRCC is slow. So we're going to continue reading out more questions. As I read out your name and your question, please press the like button so I know you're there. NJ, hi. Recently my husband's TRV, which is a temporary resident visa, was refused on the grounds of contravened previous stay in Canada. Irony is that he never been to Canada and not WN. That's correct. It does happen. There's maybe a mismatch with the names, NJ. This has to be rectified. It can take anywhere from 6 months to a year to resolve this. Okay? Sometimes you need to even take it for judicial review. Okay? And that costs money. So unfortunately, you're at the receiving end of bad news, mistaken identity, incorrect information or processing from the IRCC. It's completely possible to rectify it if it's genuine. However, it will take time, and in some cases it could take more money and resources. Joseph H. So again, everyone, I read out your name and the question. To make sure you're there, press the like button. Joseph H. Hello, Reza. I just want to thank you for your help and support. No problem. That's why we're here. Thanks, Joseph. Appreciate it. That's why we're here on Tuesdays. And again, everyone, if you need to know about refusals, we did a refusal video last week. If you want to know about startup visa, this afternoon session at 5 p.m. North America Eastern Time, which is the time zone for Ottawa, Toronto, Miami, New York, Montreal. We're doing a startup visa YouTube video to talk about startup visa. Rebecca Sisson, hi Reza, how are you? Still no update about tourist visa. Yes, Rebecca, if you applied online using the new portal, you should receive a decision soon. I'm not too sure about your case at that point. Because there's so many people that come on our lives. I remember your name, but I don't know the details exactly. If you applied using the new portal after September and you do meet all the requirements and eligibility and also the vaccinations, you should have a decision soon. Sometimes it's days, weeks, and sometimes months. We've applied for some of our clients and it's been over 2 weeks, right? So that's normal. With the IRCC, nothing is guaranteed. Remember, everyone, there is no guarantee. It's not like ordering a pizza that they guarantee 30-minute delivery. It doesn't happen like that with IRCC. There's no guarantee they will do it correctly. They will send a decision on time. The decision will be genuine. This decision will be, let's say, fair even. There's no guarantee with that. So that's a reality. Sam Aduke. So Sam, when we read out everyone's name and the question, please press the like button so I know you're there. Okay? Sam Aduke says, how long does it take to get students work permit visa? It depends. It depends, right? So if you are from certain countries and you have student direct stream, it could take 3 weeks to 4 weeks, sometimes 2, but right now we're seeing 3 to 4. If you're from a country where only a study permit, regular study permit application is possible, it can take 2 months, it can take 3 months, it could take more. It depends where you're applying from. Thanks Sam Aduke for the like. How to rectify NJ? NJ, you have to correspond with IRCC, and if they don't do anything, you have to take it for judicial review. However, right now it's not a priority, so for IRCC to solve these issues, so you could be waiting for a while. You have to start corresponding with the embassy directly, giving them documentation and information that this was a case of maybe mistaken identity. Louis Jumat. So Louis, when we read out everyone's questions or name, you press a like so I know you're there. Louis Jumat. Hi Reza, if a new work permit gets approved, does my current one automatically get cancelled? Yeah, you cannot have 2 valid work permits or study permits. One will take over the other, like trump the other one. I plan to travel December 22nd, but I had an acknowledgement for my bridging open work permit application. Okay, so when you apply for a bridging open work permit, you're on implied status until you get a new work permit. Your implied status will be cancelled if you travel outside. Okay, however, if your existing work permit is valid, you can still work if you return. So you got to be careful here, Louis. You got to pay attention. It's a bit tricky. Neil Jacob, hello Reza. Does the update from IRCC mean that my application has been received by the embassy? Well, it could be the embassy or IRCC offices in Canada. It depends on your application, like you mentioned. If it's for refugees, so the embassy could be the last stage, not the beginning stage. So it could be in Canada. There's no guarantee which office is processing it. Adi Shinu. Hello Reza, we applied for a study permit and spousal open work permit and visitor visa in a combined application from India under the SDS stream. Okay, Adi. Continuing, our spousal open work permit and visitor visa was rejected on November 16th, but my study permit was changed to review status and no result yet. Which can we expect a result on a study file? Okay, Adi. So if you are for January 2022 intake, you should have a decision this month on your study permit. No guarantees, but that's the standard. I have submitted biometrics October 19th, and this is still, oh no, sorry, somebody else's question. So Adi, this month hopefully, if your intake is later on, then it could take longer. Rebecca Sison. Yes, I did a new portal last September. I am in Singapore. Still, I wanted to explore Canada before I'm forged for good at my origin country. I'm completed 3 vaccinations. Yeah, so Rebecca, you have to just wait because it's not an urgent application in your circumstances. So it could take time. Louis Jumat is asking, hi Reza, I meant that I got additional document requested for my bridging open work permit. I'm worried that if my bridging open work permit application is approved before I travel, that I would have issues traveling with my current work permit and TRV. So when you exit the country, you don't need any requirements. When you return, you need a visa or you need to be a visa exempt passport holder. Okay? So that's important. So even if you have a work permit and you're not traveling to the US to come back, you do need a visa even with a valid work permit. So make sure you don't confuse those. Bedros, hi Reza. When we read out your questions or name, please do a like button so I know you're watching and I know you're still there. Bedros says, hi Reza, I'm not sure if you remember, but I got my study permit refused twice this year. Yeah, I remember, Bedros. And I just want to ask if acceptance is possible. Bedros, I think you were from Kuwait and you had dual nationality. Syrian, Armenian, I'm not sure. Um, and I just want to ask if acceptance is possible if I went back to my home country and applied from there. It's not going to help you too much, Bedros. Sorry. I'm Armenian, yeah. So my application would be sent to the Moscow embassy where acceptance rates are way higher than Middle East. Yeah, I'd be careful about that. I don't know where you're getting that information. Moscow embassy being way higher. I'm not sure about that. Adi Shinu, thanks Reza. Is it expected to get a result for the spousal open work permit and visitor visa before the study file? Some say as spousal open work permit and visitor visas is rejected, study permit will also be rejected. Is it the case? Each case is different, Adi. It really depends. So sometimes they're rejected and the study permit is approved. So there's no guarantee that will be approved or refused. So there is no norm. Each case is different. Louis Jumad is asking a question, follow-up. Last question for me, no problem. Do you predict more travel ban restriction this month? If yes, in what form? More country bans or more like a ban on essential travel? Right now in December, I think it's country ban. In January, we have to see the number of COVID statistics rising in Canada and the travel restrictions may expand. However, it's too early to predict. Okay, we have to monitor the COVID-19 infections and the cases that are being reported by the government here in Canada. Right now in December, it's mainly nationality. In terms of country restrictions, not nationality. Mark Peter, is a 50-year-old eligible for a Saskatchewan nominee immigration program pathway if they found an employer? Please advise. Potentially, yes, Peter. But again, it depends on the specific program. But potentially, yes. And remember, for PR purposes, the Saskatchewan immigration nominee program is a points-based system. So you got to make sure you've got the points before you even consider it. But if you do a work permit only, that's a federal program, and you don't even there's no age limit. Ali Salat says, hi Reza. Hi Ali. Whenever I read somebody's name or question, I ask them to press the like button so I know they're there still watching, or they're not driving or the internet being disconnected. Lori Panosian, hi Reza. What's the average wait after medical for spousal sponsorship? After the medical, it could be 3 to 6 months. It depends if it's inland or outland. But if the fact that they've done a medical, it could be relatively quick, Loris. Joseph, hi. Joseph H. If I am in Canada on a visitor visa, if I apply for a job and get a positive labor market impact assessment, can I work until waiting for the work permit? Any advantage to be physically in Canada to get a work permit versus applying from abroad? Same procedure. Right now, there's a COVID policy that allows you to apply from inside of Canada, Joseph. In February, that's expiring. If that expires and it's not renewed, this policy, you have to go out and come back, or maybe do a flagpole at the US border. So that's the disadvantage and advantage when you're applying from outside. Only under very specific criteria can you work while you're waiting for a work permit after an LMI. Otherwise, if you don't have a work permit, in many cases you cannot work. But again, there's specific COVID-19 policies that allow some exemptions, and each case is specific. So I can't comment on your specific case at this point. Iona Silva, it means that can we have our study permits for January intake within December, biometric starting October 19th? Yes, potentially. It's a very high likelihood, Iona. Isaac Asomao Dante, I have received a graduate award of $17,000 and my tuition is $8,000. How much do I need to show as proof of funds? Isaac, if you tell me your school that you got the admission and scholarship, I will let you know how much you need to show and what is the likelihood of you being approved. Okay, I can tell you like that because I have a hunch there. Ramanjit Kaur, I've submitted my study permit file in this October 23rd. When can I expect my visa? Should I take deferment already? If it's for January, wait. Right now the schools will close at the end of this week and the deferment will take time. If it's for May or April 2022, you might get an approval by February. If it's for January, if you don't get a decision now, you can get a deferral in January. Okay? Right now, it's too late to get a deferral because the schools are closing at the end of this week. Adi Shinu. This was my spousal open work permit rejection. Reason: will not leave as stipulated by the Immigration Refugee Protection Regulations based on the purpose of it. What does this mean? It means that they don't think it's a genuine visitor or worker. You will not return to your home country for the spouse. That's what it means. It's a very standard refusal wording, so it's not unique to your case. It's done millions of times per day for a lot of refusals. I'm a software engineer, 9 years of experience with an annual income in India of about 35,000, and I have shown savings of 16,000, 6 months old funds, and we did a GIC of wife study perm with 20,000. So Adi, if the study permit is approved, that's great. I think you have a great case for that, but only after you start studying in Canada would I recommend in your case to apply for your family or your spouse. Peter Mark, is there no problem if a requirement, oh, Peter Mark retracted the message. But yeah, yes folks, we're here answering your questions live. On Facebook, we cannot see your comments live. We will answer them after the live session. And in Instagram, this is probably going to be a pre-recorded video uploaded. But again, if you want access to live comments and questions, come to our YouTube and we'd be happy to help. Ramanjit Kaur says, I've applied for January 2022 in only. Should I wait till January and then take deferment, as you said that the schools are closing soon? You won't get your deferment this month, but yeah, inform the school that you have not received your study permit and tell them that what is the deferment procedure, so at least you've informed them. Okay. Ryan Banks, I was denied a visitor visa because I don't have a legitimate business purpose to visit, even while I had a copy of the conference I was visiting in New Brunswick. Yeah, Ryan, so the attending a conference is only gives so much weight to an application. It doesn't mean guaranteed approval, right? So they're just saying that, hey, it's like, it's not a genuine reason. We don't believe you. Stacy Kimani. So everyone, when I read your name and your question, please press the like button on YouTube so I know you're there and listening. Stacy Kimani. Just want to say thank you for all the advice you give. No problem, Stacy, always here. Ryan Banks, I replied. Adi Shino, if the study permit is accepted in our case, should we consider submitting a reconsideration with Delhi Embassy for our spousal open work permit, visitor visa? What is your suggestion? No, I don't recommend it. You can, it doesn't hurt, but you have to address the officer who refused all the reasons they refused, right? So you have to get the officer notes, might take a month, and then ask for you can't just ask for reconsideration for the sake of asking for reconsideration, right? Isaac Asmore Dante says University of Saskatchewan. Okay, Isaac. Okay, so $10,000 living expenses as a student is the minimum, plus 1 year tuition. So if it's 8,000 remaining, so 18,000. This is the bare minimum, Isaac. Remember, your age, your education gap, travel history, assets and employability, and current employment prospects in your home country are as important. Okay? The scholarship will not help you get a visa. Okay? Remember, this is a big confusion people make. The scholarship is not going to tell the embassy, oh yeah, this is great, let's give them a visa. No. Peter Mark, is there no problem if a PR Canada requirement for my friend's wife birth certificate is unable to produce because he has been separated for so long but still married on this okay or not? Please advise. Is there a problem if PR Canada requirements for my friend's wife birth certificate is on it? No, you have to request proof of like a replacement birth certificate or proof of citizenship. Adi, I wish I could add a like for every question. Yeah, no worries, Adi. Thanks. Adi, yeah, applied for GCMS notes on November 16th, waiting until still now. It takes about 40 days, 45 days, some cases. Not guaranteed. It may take longer. But You'll get it within that time frame, and you can ask for reconsideration if you think it was a mistake, or you have included details in that application which they didn't see or consider, and that's a reason of the refusal. Otherwise, you just have to come here and start and then apply for them later. Iona Silva, thank you so much, Reza, for this valuable information. No problem, Iona. We're here for you guys, for everyone. Bedros, do you recommend emailing the Abu Dhabi Embassy about my state of emergency to see if they could possibly change their final decision? Yeah, I mean, you can ask for reconsideration, Bedros, but you need to address the officer's concerns. You can't just apply or request a reconsideration just for the sake of it. You have to know exactly the reasons, and that's through the GCMS notes, Global Case Management System notes. Thank you so much. Adisha, makes sense. Thanks. Ramanjit Kaur. The college said that the deadline for the deferment is 20th January, so I'm confused. No, that's the deadline. That's fine. So request the deferment. I think the first week January when they're back, request a deferment. Ryan Banks says, thanks. Do I need to add a personal invitation to the conference to have a better chance for my visitor visa? You can, Ryan, but still, they will put more weight to your travel history, your financials, your assets, your employment in your home country, and your ties to Canada than that conference. The conference, anybody can register and pay. Me, you, anybody in this YouTube, right? It's tough. The conference will only give you this much weight. Ali Salat. Hi Reza. Hi Ali. I have submitted Canada spousal sponsorship outside Canada, which is under process. My question is, can I leave the country that I originally submitted my application and settle another? Ali, potentially yes. So let's say you're in country X and you're outside Canada, you're waiting to be sponsored. You could go, but you have to inform. If you are moving permanently, you have to inform IRCC with this move, with your new contact information, telephone, mailing address, and anything that's changed. Bedros. But as I've mentioned before, the reason of refusal was financial, but I have paid my tuition and accommodation fees and stated close to $46,000 in my bank statement. Surely that's eligible. Yes, Bedros, you can do a reconsideration, but you need the officer notes. Because it could be other factors too. Where did the money come from? Is it just sitting in your bank account for the last year? Where's your income coming from? There's other questions that officers look at. Louis Jumat. By the way, wanted to acknowledge that I had an express consultation with Ellen and Human. They were helpful, so thanks. Louis, yeah, Louis, I remember that Friday I wasn't available. So, okay, great. I'm glad to hear that, Louis. Thank you for letting me know. Adish, if we get our study permit by last week of December and we cannot make it for January 2022, can we use the same stamping to come to Canada in May 2022, of course with a deferral offer from the university for me? So if we get a study permit by us and we can now make it for January, can we use the same stamping to come to Canada in May? Potentially, but you have to inform them you have to inform IRCC of the deferment, because when you come into the system, when you arrive at the border, they can see everything that you originally applied, so you don't want to have issues there. Stacy Kimani, my dad lost his citizenship card and also his passport expired. What else can be shown as proof of citizenship to apply for a new citizenship card? Well, you request a replacement. You have to show other documents, right? Stacy, it's a bit tricky because we have to see what you have. Do you have the citizenship? You don't have the citizenship certificate. Do you have any proof, that he's been here? I don't know, the old PR card or anything else. So you have to consider what you have available to prove, and then the IRCC can consider that as well. So each case is different, Stacy. It's tough. I don't know what your father has to prove that he's a citizen. Was he born here? No. Then was he a permanent resident and then he was invited to a ceremony? Does he have landing papers? Does he have copies of something? Or it's tough. It's tough. Yeah, it's possible. We just have to understand what you have. Goose, is it really true that student study permit applicants must apply for the open work permit plus study permit for minors or TRV together, one-time application? Unlike before that, study permit applicants first and once SB approved. Yeah, so you mean, Goose, that do we all have to apply together? They're asking you to do that now with the new portals. Okay, that's a new policy. People can do it separately still, but right now IRCC is pushing to apply together because they're refusing more people that way. Bedros, I had put a salary certificate and certificate of property rights in my application. Would that better my chances for reconsideration? Potentially, but again, Bedros, unless we see the officer notes, you cannot assume what went through their mind. Okay, so you can ask for a reconsideration, fine, but I'm just saying if you want to have a reconsideration that is going to be taken seriously, although reconsideration approvals are less than 10%, you should look at the officer notes. Shah Nawaz Sheikh, sir, when federal skilled worker job will be conducted? I'm waiting since long. Next year, Shah Nawaz, not this year. Paddy Mwende, I applied for a study permit on 4th June this year and I haven't received my visa yet. Any hope before January to get my visa? That sounds like a long time, Paddy. Please email the embassy directly. Ramanjit Kaur, so IRCC won't be working on visa applications after this week because of holidays. It'll be a lighter workload. It'll be less people, less resources, so it'll slow down. You know, but you might get some approvals or at least decisions if the refusals or not. We're going to wrap up, everyone. Thanks. Press like. We love everyone who joins us because we're here to answer all of your questions. We're back here today, 5 p.m. North America Standard Eastern Time every Tuesday. So if you're watching the live, it's Tuesday, today 5 p.m. We're going to talk about startup visa. If you're watching a recording of this, we'll come back on Tuesdays and we'll answer your questions as well. Last question by Paddy Mwende. Please press the like button when I read your name and question so I know you're there. And does it mean I have to reapply again my study permit or just wait from the immigration? Paddy, right now just correspond with the embassy directly through the email. Don't reapply yet. I don't recommend it at this point. Mahmoud Obeid, hi Reza. I have the CSQ, which is for Quebec, certificate something Quebec, and my French sucks, as investor program in Quebec. Great, so you came through the Quebec program. I applied for the PR on April 2020. Until now, I don't call for medical until today. It takes about 4 years, Mahmoud. That's the average time. If you're not a French-speaking applicant, it can take up to 4 years. Survivor on the go, great, thanks. Please, how long after request for medical will I get a confirmation of PR or passport request? Survivor on the go. It depends on what you're applying for. Survivor on the go. Can you let me know just before we wrap up, everyone? Last question from Survivor on the go. Can you tell me what you applied for? Because I don't remember seeing your question before this. Because you have a very unique name. Come on, Survivor. Oh, okay, yes. So, yeah, there's a delay in the live with the comments. So just tell me what you applied for, and I'll tell you typically passport request for student. Which country? Yeah, sorry guys, I'm just waiting. Student visa. Just waiting for this one and then we're done. Due to December holiday, are there any delays in study permits for January? Yeah, if you applied Iona late, you will get a late decision. Everything from a month or two before is being processed. Sri Lanka. So Survivor on the go, you should have put your upfront medical when you did the application. But now that they've gone through the application and now they've requested a medical, after the medical it could take 2 weeks to 6 weeks to get a decision, depending. First time response replied to me, thanks. Someone replied to me. Survivor on the first time someone replied to me, no worries. We're here every Tuesday, so we will reply to you. That's a guarantee. If you're here in our live session, That's our 100% guarantee that we will reply to. Thank you, Goose. No problem. Take care, everyone. We're back talking about the startup visa program. If you have any friends or family who are considering to move their startup or business to Canada, have them watch our 5 p.m. session today, or even the recording later on. Thanks, everyone. Take care. We are going to sign off. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Bye-bye now.